Hi, have you ever thought about how we view the ageing process through the various stages of our own life? You may recall when you're around 20 or in your 20s, your father was often referred to as my old man, my old man. And even when you get to 30, and he's only in his 50s, it's my old man. And so it goes on. When we are in our 20s, we think of people in their late 40s as old people. When we get to our 40s, we think of people in their 60s of being old people. When we get to our 60s and we're retiring, we get to thinking about people in their 80s of old people. And when we get to my age, 87, we think of old people as people in their 90s, their late 90s. It's all relative. And we label, society labels people as old from the point of view of where they are at this time. This is a funny thing because age is really relative to the attitude, very much so, to the attitude of the person at that age. When I took voluntary redundancy at 59, I can recall going along to a volunteer organisation, and as I stepped inside, some women about probably 10 years older than me said, "Oh, you're fit and well, you've got a long retirement ahead of you." And they were right. That was 28 years ago. And I still think I've got some time ahead. Now the point is, if you are recently retired or coming up to retirement, you probably have a long time ahead of you too. What are you going to do with it all? You can't play golf every day if you're a golfer, or go fishing every day if you're a fisherman. Sometimes you mightn't be into either of these. What are you going to do? Sit in front of the TV all day? Go for a walk around the block? That's your exercise? You've got to have something more than that. That something more than that, whatever it may be, will give you the impetus, the desire, the motivation to find excitement in your life, to be able to do something that you really think is worthwhile. You've got to have a vision about this. What am I going to do? What's my vision in retirement? A fellow called Greg Anderson, who went to a doctor, and the doctor said to him, "Greg, you'll be dead in a month. You've got metastatic lung cancer." Can you imagine that? He thought he was going to die in a month. So what did he do? He didn't just go home and mope and die in a month. He thought, there are other people who survived this. How did they do it? And he went on to research and researched and researched. And I bought a book that he wrote 12 years after this diagnosis. So obviously, attitude and motivation play a very big part in our life. But to get away from the morbidity of that particular story, which isn't really morbid because, let's face it, is still going strong at least 12 years later. What are you going to do? Greg Anderson came up with a formula. V plus S times P equals M. So what does this mean? Vision, your vision, needs to be to provide a service, something outside of yourself, not just little me. There's a whole world out there waiting, people needing help. So the vision is to provide a service. What sort of service? Something you're passionate about, something that really gets you, something that you've been good at, perhaps all of your life, and have never had a chance to practice much until now. So this provides your passion. And these three together, vision plus service times passion, equals your mission in retirement. And when you've got that, you're going to live a long, long time, a long, happy life, a good life, one rewarding. And at the end of it, probably the end of your days, you'll say, I did it. I did what I really came to do.